Hello everyone. Hope you're doing great. This is Motorsport Progression, and I'm back again with another video. So I just want to talk about the Bahrain Grand Prix that's ongoing this weekend. So from the 11th of April to the 13th of April. Yeah, I just want to talk about free practice one and what happened. So before free practice one, they already announced that there's gonna be six rookies on track, driving for the different teams. And, there's a rule in the Formula One that says that you have to run rookies three times in three different practice sessions, over the course of the season, so there's many sessions that you can activate this rule. So so let's just talk about the rookies here that drove. I got one, two, three, four, five, and yeah, there was. So I got you have Rio Harakara for Haas F1, and I remember at the Japanese Grand Prix he drove the Alpine. So Rio Hirakawa, that's a good look for him, to drive two different Formula One cars within 2 weeks, So it shows you that the youngers are coming through, So as lot that we're getting older, we have to, support them and make sure they take the right steps. And then you got Filipe Drugovic. I've seen him drive for Aston Martin before, even last season. So he was in Aston Martin taking Fernando Alonso's seat. Then you got Luke Browning. That sounds like a British name. He was driving for Williams. Taking Carlos Sainz's seat for free practice one. And then you got Frederick Vesti for Mercedes, and then you got Dino Veganovic for Ferrari, and then you got one other driver for Red Bull who took Max Verstappen's seat. You know, so looking at what happened in the actual session here, you had Frederick Vesti. He had multiple lockups here in multiple turns, and he was just coming. He was just getting used to the car. It's his first outing in the car. Free practice one, so he will tend to over push it a little bit and make mistakes. As part of a nature of a Formula One driver. And then Yuki Tsunoda as well, he was a bit confused with his pit box. He missed his pit box, but Red Bull are towards the end of the pit box. But he just switched teams from Racing Bulls. They're towards the front of the pit lane, and then Red Bull that towards the rear end of the pit lane. So Yuki Tsunoda made a little mistake there, and then on another incident, he passed Alexander Albon in the pits. He had to avoid action because he wasn't hanging around wasting no time. And then you had Alexander Albon as well. He had a near miss with his rookie teammate, which was Luke Brown, and towards the end of the lap of the Bahrain GP circuit. They nearly crashed, but he avoided it just about, and then he was called in by Williams, so he was frustrated with that as well. He didn't understand why they were calling him in because he was trying to like dial in his brakes in it, so to see what the brakes are doing over the lap in it. Because there's at least three heavy braking zones, and there's about four or five medium braking zones. So let's say six overall. Tough braking zones. On the Bahrain circuit. So he was trying to find out what his brakes are doing. And then Ferrari also, they brought upgrades to the circuit this weekend, especially to the floor. And Lewis Hamilton and Dino Veganovic were testing them out. So Hamilton was testing it out, and after the Japanese Grand Prix, Hamilton came out and said that there was a problem with the floor of his car, and he feels like if Ferrari get that corrected, he would have picked up some pace and had good things going for himself. So Ferrari brought some upgrades, and he finished in third in that first practice session. And also You had Oscar Piastri. He was really wide in the final corner, on a push lap, and that was a slight error there. But it's part of the race, to go wide in the final turn. It's part of that track, to try and pick up some speed. But there's a little bit of sand on the outside, which can catch you out, And then also, Lando Norris was off at turn four. And I remember in 2014, turn four was one of the overtaking spots for Hamilton, between Hamilton and Rosberg, the duel of the desert between the two Mercedes drivers. Turn four was made legendary by those two drivers. They were battling so hard. After that race, Mercedes, they called off that strong battling. Yeah. So yeah, and that was it there. And then in that session, I just want to give you the results here for the top 20 drivers. Okay, so you got the Bahrain Grand Prix Practice 1 classification. So in first position, you got Lando Norris in the McLaren with a 1 minute 33.204 seconds, and he had 23 laps. In second position, you got Pierre Gasly in the Alpine. He was just about 2 tenths down. In third position, you got Lewis Hamilton. He was about 5 tenths down. In fourth position, you got Alexander Albon in the Williams. He was about 7 tenths down. And then in fifth position, you got Esteban Ocon. He was about 9 tenths, nearly a second down. And then in sixth position, you had Nico Hulkenberg, a second off the pace, and he done 24 laps. In seventh position, you got Jack Doohan in the Alpine. In eighth position, you had Liam Lawson in the Racing Bulls. In ninth position, you had Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull. In tenth position, you have Oscar Piastri in the McLaren. He was 1.304 seconds off, and he done 25 laps. In 11th position, you had Gabriel Bortoleto in a Kick Sauber. In 12th position, you had Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Bulls. In 13th position, you had Luke Browning in a Williams. In 14th position, you had Dino Beganovic in the Ferrari. He was 1.8 seconds off the time of Lando Norris. In 15th position, you had Lance Stroll. He was 1.912 seconds off the time of Lando Norris. And then in 16th position, you had Felipe Drugovich in the Aston Martin as well. In 17th position, you had Rio Hirakawa in the Haas F1. He was about 2 seconds off the pace of the fastest time. And then in 18th position, you had Frederick Vesti in the Mercedes. In 19th position, you had Ayumu Iwasa. Yeah, Ayumu Iwasa is the one that replaced Max Verstappen in the Red Bull for the first practice session in the Bahrain Grand Prix. He was 2.271 seconds off, and he done 20 laps. So he would have been happy to, to get some laps under his belt. And he must be a good driver, to get a seat, to get to be on a young Red Bull drivers program. And then in 20th position, you had Kimi Antonelli in a Mercedes. He was about 4.847 seconds off with 3 laps. So I'm sure Kimi Antonelli had a problem with his car. So, that didn't help him much, because he would have done more than 3 laps, So I'm sure there was a problem with his car that kept him in the pits. But yeah, he'll be looking for some more performance over the weekend. But he's done really well, in the first 3 Grand Prix already. So yeah, peeps, this is the result for the free practice 1 session for the Bahrain Grand Prix. So yeah, I'm just gonna wrap it up here. I hope everyone's doing great, and I just want to say thank you for your support on the channel. I really appreciate it. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell as well, so you can get notified for any new videos. Then you can like the video as well, because it helps the algorithm. Then you can drop your comments below. If you watched free practice 1, let me know what your thoughts are. And if you got any questions to ask me about Formula 1, feel free to ask and I'll get back to you. And also, you can share the video on your various social media platforms as well. which helps, other people, to gain the knowledge on to get to know the channel as well. And then also you can click on another video because there's more content on the channel that you can learn from, and you can also come back on the channel, regularly to find out, what's going on. So yeah, peeps, I'm just gonna wrap you up here. I just want to say thank you, everyone, and I'm on to the next one. So the next video is gonna be about free practice 2.